Hello everyone, welcome to a video for administrators of the Spot Report system. That's the Hazard, Near Miss and Safety Issue Reporting System for Heritage Railways. This is one of two videos made for the purpose of explaining Spot Report. The other video, which is also on YouTube, is designed for frontline staff and users of the system. This video is designed for administrators of the system. So if you haven't already watched the video for frontline users so that you can see what they can see, I recommend you stop now and watch that one first and then come back to this one. So first of all, a brief recap of what the Spot Report system is and isn't for. It's for non-urgent safety reporting of near misses, hazards and safety issues. Slips and trips are the classic example of things that could be prevented by efficient use of the Spot Report system, slips and trips being the highest cause of public liability insurance claims against Heritage Railways. And as in the photograph there, loose bricks where a brick course ends are an ideal opportunity for somebody to slip and trip. Really easy for somebody to report that via the Spot Report system, hopefully before somebody slips and trips and injures themselves. But it is not for emergencies or immediate danger or obstructions on the line. And in an emergency, staff should always contact the signalman or duty officer first, as detailed in your rulebook. And if you make use of the template PowerPoint presentation that was issued with your Spot Report information, you'll see that on this slide you'll need to edit it to include your rule number for your rulebook, or if you don't want to, then just delete the part that I've shown in red altogether. Incidentally, that's the only part of the slides that is sort of intended to be edited. You can edit as much of the rest of it as you want, but that's the only bit that really does need your attention before it's put into use. Spot reports are submitted by users via HOPS, either by their computer or by phone, by clicking on Spot Report, Near Miss and Hazard Reporting in the Quick Links section on the home page. And the New Report page allows users to fill in the site, the location within the site, some detail, and their suggested action required for what they've observed. Users can check up on their previously submitted Spot Reports at any time. Newly submitted reports are initially referred to as red spots. They're ones that have had no action taken whatsoever. When you assign them for action, which we'll see how to do in a second, they turn into yellow spots. And finally, when all the actions have been completed, they'll turn into a green spot, and that's when the Spot Report has been closed and hopefully the safety issue resolved. And there's feedback to the reporter at each stage of that process. The Spot Report administrator's job, your job, is to guide the incoming reports through the colours to a resolution, giving feedback and communicating with the reporter. Incoming Spot Reports appear on this Report Administration tab, and the red ones, the red spots, are those that require your attention, those that have newly come in and have not yet been attributed for action to be taken. You click on the reference number of the Spot Report to see more details about it. Here's the more detailed page. You can see the more detailed page shows the headline, the site and location, the detail that the reporter submitted, and the reporter's suggested action. Suggested action is an optional field for the user, for the reporter, so it might not always be there, but detail is a required field, so there will always be some detail. You can also see the reporter's name and the time that they submitted it. To assign an incoming Spot Report for action, it has to be attributed to a near misses and incidents register, or an asset defect, or a function log. And when this is done, the report will turn to a yellow spot. So Spot Report is only a reporting tool. It's designed to feed into one of these other three systems, or all of these other three systems. And that's how it's best used, because most incoming Spot Reports are going to relate to some sort of safety issue or near miss, in which case they go into the near misses and incidents register, some sort of asset defect, in which case they go against an asset defect, or some sort of other loggable occurrence that you might be using function logs to record. Certainly, if you find you receive incoming red spot reports for things that don't fit neatly into one of these three categories, let me know, because like everything in HOPS, every development that's ever taken place has been because somebody somewhere on a railway has identified a need for a development and has reported it, and then we've developed it. But insofar as what we've thought of at the moment, every incoming spot report, we hope, will fall into one of those three categories, and that's how they're assigned for action. And when they're assigned for action to the owner of the near misses and incidents register, the owner of the asset defect, or the person responsible for the function log, that's when they turn to a yellow spot in the system. Updates can be provided to the reporter using the updates box on the detail screen, and The more updates you can provide to the original reporter, the better. The more credibility that will give the system in their eyes, and the more they will feel like it's worth using the spot report system to report things. So please do provide an update whenever there is any feedback or progress. And also, if there's no feedback or progress, it's still important to provide an update, even if there's no resolution at all, to explain why that's the case, to explain why there's going to be a delay, or to explain that the conscious decision has been made not to address the thing that's been raised. Because, as I always say, there's no rule or law that says you can never ever have any risk. You just have to identify what it is, minimise it as far as reasonably practicable. And it is definitely true to say that some things that will get raised through the spot report system, it might be the best thing to defer them until this coming winter to do the repair, or to decide that that's not a priority at the moment and to say we're just not going to give that our attention because there are more important safety things to focus on. But it's important to provide updates back to the reporter even if what they've raised is not going to be resolved or not going to be resolved soon. When the report has been resolved, whatever the issue that's been raised has been resolved, again we use the updates section of the detail page to write an update to the user, write a little remark as to how the defect has been closed, and importantly thank the user for reporting, and then tick the mark as closed box before pressing save. And at that point the spot report will turn to a green spot and no further action is required. The spot report can be reopened again at any time. If you feel the need, you just go to the updates page again and untick the mark as closed box and it'll be reopened. It'll go back to being a yellow spot. But really, only turn the spot reports to a green spot when you're happy to say we're not going to be giving this any further action as far as we're concerned. The issue that has been raised has been dealt with. Couple of points of summary. All reports are valuable, no matter how silly they are. And yes, we accept that there are going to be some people who are going to make silly spot reports, or are going to report things that shouldn't be reported, or that they could have put right there and then. But all reports are valuable because they're all people engaging with the system. They're all people engaging with the safety culture. They're all people who are taking responsibility for the things that they see, for the things that they spot, and trying, maybe albeit misguidedly, to do something about it. And that's definitely something to be encouraged. And in your feedback for the spot report that was raised that was silly, perhaps without using the word silly, you can explain to the user what would have been a better action to take instead of using the spot report system. Use of the spot report system will reduce injuries and safety risks. This has been demonstrated in many different industries. Every spot report counts. That's not to say one spot report will save one death, but it has certainly been demonstrated across a huge number of spot report equivalents in different industries that the equivalent of 100 spot reports removes one minor injury on average. The equivalent of 10,000 spot reports removes one major injury, and the equivalent of 100,000 spot reports removes 3 broken bones, and all sorts of statistical averages like that are easily able to find on the internet. Whether we like or dislike or agree or disagree with close call systems like Spot Report, it is proven that they do, if used properly, reduce injuries and reduce safety risk. It also gives the railway a brilliant opportunity to demonstrate that it's doing everything it can to engage with staff, to improve the safety culture and to reduce injuries and safety risk. The users will only gain confidence in the system if they see lots of action. They won't gain confidence if they report things and then they stay red forever. So spots changing colour, that will give users confidence in the system, and them receiving feedback, them thinking that somebody's actually listening to what they've reported and is trying their best at least to do something about it. That will give them confidence in the system, it will give them confidence in their leadership, and it will give them confidence that safety culture is important. It will not be possible to rectify all reports straight away, as we've already mentioned. It is not reasonably practicable to do so, and there's no problem with that at all. But do reply to the reporter explaining the reasons why or when the planned date is. Again, so as not to erode their confidence or the credibility of the spot report system. Do not let users think that their tickets just disappear into a black hole. And certainly from some railways who contributed into the development of the spot report system, where it's replacing paper tickets or carbon pads or email inboxes or those sorts of things, a definite feedback from users is, I reported this and nothing happened. I reported it and it just disappears into a black hole and nobody ever does anything. And that's one of the reasons why we developed the spot report system. Users can log in, see the progress on their tickets, they get feedback, there's a red, yellow, green system. That's why all that stuff is so important to the success of the spot report system at your railway. Spot report contributes to the railway's positive safety culture and, crucially, its ability to demonstrate that safety culture, to demonstrate safety engagement with its staff, and to demonstrate that it's doing its best to do everything reasonably practicable. So thank you very much for tuning in. Watch this space, because I'm sure there will be a workshop at some point on the spot report system. If you've got any comments or questions, please contact your HOPS admin in the first instance, or if you are the HOPS admin, you can obviously escalate that to us and we'll do our best to answer it. We're very keen to hear your feedback about how a spot report can develop in the future. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. We'll speak to you all again soon. Goodbye.